had seen who did my blood test, she advised me that it's good if I can get the COVID test done. So, and then she was like, okay. So she asked me, where do you live? And I explained everything. Do you have extra room that you can isolate at home on your own? And or you have with each, you know, or do you need to be on a governmental, you know, center? And I said, no, I have extra room in the house with bathroom. In fact, I'm already, you know, on isolation, because that's what the text message, you know, advised me to do. And then she said, okay, that's very good. So I'm, you know, luckily, because I had no other health issues like diabetic, high blood pressure, all those things, you know, I didn't have to go to the centers. I could actually isolate from home. So that was really, I'm grateful for that, honestly. And so the journey started in disbelief, in denial, in confusion. I didn't know how I felt, honestly. I knew I was tired, my body was fighting something, but in my tiny mind, I knew it's because of my blood issues. So anyway, the second day of isolation, I woke up with a very dry nose. My nose was really dry. I couldn't breathe through my nose. Not that I had issues with breathing, but my nose was so dry, so that breathing through my nose was hurting. So I was then forced to breathe through my mouth, and that was really annoying. You know, so that was on the second day. And then on the third day, I woke up, you know, I'm still exhausted, my body is really tired, and but then my nose was less dry, so that was really a relief for me. And I don't know, this whole journey of COVID and, you know, isolation, and it's like every day you wake up and you don't know what's gonna happen. So you just have to take it a day at a time. And on the third day, I woke up still really exhausted, but my nose was okay. And I was able to breathe through my nose. So that was a relief for me also. But then I had diarrhea. Sorry about that. I can laugh about it now. I had diarrhea. And then I had, it was after breakfast, I remember, and then I had like a rumbling in my stomach. And that was it. It was really terrible. But then that was it, and then never had it again. On the fourth day, I woke up feeling now less exhausted. My body was regaining its power over the virus, I think, and I was feeling a bit less of the exhaustion. And on the fifth day, I woke up feeling much better. And like I said, you wake up and you don't know what's going to happen. You just have to take a day at a time. The fifth day, I remember I had a terrible headache, really bad headache. And I don't know, I just couldn't understand why, but I just had headache, you know. And in the with Dubai Health Authority, there is this COVID app, they call it DXB Smart COVID, where you sign up there and then you get actually care 24/7. And so I texted them to get a call back. You know, you could text there so that you can get a call back. So I did that, and then they called me and I said, I'm just having headache. And they told me that's one of the symptoms. So just take care, rest well, and drink a lot of water, drink a lot of liquids, you know, and all that. You just need to I don't know, it's very strange virus, really strange. And so, yeah, but it's like every day there was something. And then on the sixth day I was fine. Seventh day I was fine. The eighth day I was fine. On the ninth day I woke up. I mean, every day for me waking up was a blessing. I mean, every day when I open my eyes, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be alive, really. That I can see, I can breathe, I can feed myself, I can eat, I can hear, I can see, I can't smell anything, but I had my hands, they're okay, my legs are okay. I still have my body, even in the days when it was fighting the virus, but I still, so every day was a blessing, really, every day was a blessing for me. And on the 9th day, I had this blanket of heaviness and really an anguish of emotion, which I have no idea where it came from. And I was just crying. I was just crying and crying, and I don't know. It was just emotional, draining. And so, yeah, it's like every day is a blessing, and every day you take a day after time. And then, I went on, and, but on the 10th day, I was okay. I was really fine, and I couldn't feel any exhaustion, or the pain was gone, the tiredness was gone, and all that. And I had to be in isolation for 2 weeks. You all know that. So even if I was okay from the 10th day of my isolation, I was still supposed to be in isolation and quarantine. So I was still locked in my own room. And I know by now you're wondering, did she take any medication? No. There is nothing specific, there is no specific medication for COVID, and there is no specific treatment either. So the only thing that I was often told by the doctors is make sure you rest well, drink a lot of liquids, and eat well, and just take care. And of course, the doctor who did my blood, like I said, she had told me to take some vitamins, so I've been taking that also. But there was no medication. I cannot say that there is any medication that I was given, because there is no medication for COVID. And so, yeah, some of my friends said, tell your husband or your nanny, to take ginger or lemon, and then let it boil, and then drink that with honey. And then one of my other friends said garlic. Apparently garlic has healing properties, that they actually can kill virus. So they would crush the garlic and then put hot water, and then I would they would let it cool, and then they would bring it for me, and I would drink. That was not doctor's recommendation, but it's what I want to call it the grandma recipes now. So yeah, but yeah, and the overall experience, I can say, was the isolation was, see them literally. I mean, you don't see them because my door was always closed. I was on isolation room. Everything, my food, if I needed something, they would leave it outside by the door, and then I would take and feed myself, or anything that I needed, they would leave outside the door. And then once in a while my husband would come, and he would stand outside the door, and he would just catch up with me. How are you feeling? And that was really hard. You feel lonely, in the dark. When everyone is sleeping, you're alone with your thoughts. It feels lonely. And that was really the hardest thing for me, staying and focused, with all this in my mind wasn't easy, to be honest. I want to be honest here. It wasn't really easy. And, my son Jasper would once in a while stand outside and say, "Mama, I love you. See you soon, and we are praying for you." But you can't hug, you can't, you cannot do anything. There is no emotional connection there. In this isolation thingy, it's just strange, and it does something with your mind. And so emotional, I think I would say I was emotional struggling. I had sleepless nights, there were days where I would wrestle with my thoughts, and I would, when you see in the news, you see there were people who have died of COVID, and it creates a lot of fear. It's I don't know, it feels really strange, and all I can say is mentally it does something with you. And yeah, I missed my husband, and I missed Jasper. I mean, we were in the same house, but I was locked up, in isolation, and you feel lonely. You do feel lonely. So, and that was really, really the hardest thing for me, to do. And yes, it was a struggle, but I am thankful. I am thankful that even in the moments of fear, worry and wondering, and I knew I was not alone. I mean, my family was in the building. They would talk to me outside, but inside sometimes it felt lonely. It really did. And that's the hardest thing. So, you have to find a way, and for me, as a believer, the only way to stay positive is speaking the word. And I mean, I was praying every day. Even in the days when I would be broken, I would cry, and then I would pray and thank God for my life, that I woke up, that I'm alive, Even in those moments, I would cry and I would still thank God. I will be grateful that I woke up, that I have my hands, I can hear, I can touch. I don't have my sense of smell, but that's okay. But everything else I have. And I'm just thankful for that, And I don't know, I just knew that things were working together for my own good. Even in those moments of emotional breakdown, of feeling lonely, of my body fighting the virus and all that, I knew things were working together, And in Isaiah 55, the scripture says, "For as the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return there, but water the earth, making it bring forth and sprout, giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose, and shall succeed in the thing for which I sent it." I had to do self-talk, really talking to myself, and really being intentional and taking and hold on. Yes, I have days where I get dry nose. I had days where I would break down emotionally. Really, I would just cry, honestly. Some days I would have headache, and I've said all those things, but I knew that even in this I wasn't alone. There was just that hope that, yes, I'm in this room on my own, but God is with me. That's what I had to speak the word. I had to do self-talk. I had to talk to myself. I had to tell myself that, things will be okay. Things will be okay. And so I had to walk, I had to isolate by faith. Yes, that's the word. I had to isolate by faith and not by what I was feeling. Because how I felt was the opposite of even what the word says. So I had to speak the truth. I had to stand on the truth of the word and proclaim it, you know, and speaking it loud and proclaiming my healing. You know, every time one of my friends said to me, Fauza, every time you inhale life. Every time you exhale the virus out. Yeah. Yeah. I had to do something. This was a fight. And the battle was not only in my body. The battle was also in the mind. My body was telling me other things, the mind was telling me something else, and the word is telling me something else. So I had to talk to myself and to stand firm and stand in the word that yes, the body is tired, the body is in pain, the mind is confused, the mind, I'm emotional, all those things, but the word says it will not go back without fulfilling that which God has sent it to do. I had to trust fully. I had to fully trust that all things were working together for my own good. And Jeremiah 30:17 says, "But I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord." Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." I had to do something, really, otherwise I would have gone mad. Yes, I had to do something differently. I had to talk to myself. I had to isolate in faith because everything else wasn't in standing in the truth. So I had to speak the faith and really make myself believe it, that I'm healed. You know, the Bible says by his stripes we are healed. So I had to proclaim. When I inhale life. I inhale healing. When I exhale, the exhaustion, the fear, the emotion breakdown, the confusion, the everything. I had to exhale all that. I had to do something. But I'm grateful. Because the miracle of all this, I want to tell you, is that the time that I was sick, I was in my bedroom, life was going on despite the fact that I was sick, but we had a life in the house before the chaos started. And so my husband, we shared the same bed before the time I was, when I started feeling unwell to the time of getting the COVID test done, and getting the results and the isolation. We were living in this house. But the good news is, it's not even good news, the miracle of this is, he didn't get the virus. He didn't get sick. Joff didn't get sick. How miraculous during, that time, after 2 days before I did the test, where did I go? All those things, and the only person that I had seen, apart from my family, was the doctor who had to do my blood test and all that. Because apparently, because we didn't know, but technically I had already the virus. And, it takes, when you spend time with someone who is COVID positive for 15 minutes, there is a bigger chance that you might get it. But all what I'm trying to say here is, this was a miracle because Dolph didn't get sick and we shared the same bed. For that time, between me getting sick and losing my sense of smell and getting the COVID test done and getting the results and isolation, I mean, life was going on. So I'm just thankful that really, even in that moment, that God did something. And that was something that even when I felt lonely, I knew that He has done a miracle. Because otherwise, I don't know how to put it. My son didn't get sick either. My nanny didn't get sick either. I mean, we were living with that time between doing my blood test and all that. And they all didn't get sick. Dolph results of COVID came negative. And no one showed the symptoms or anything. So for me, I see as it's a miracle. And I'm so thankful for that. Really, I am really thankful because otherwise I don't know how else it could have been. And that was my worry, having the whole house getting sick. I'm grateful. I'm really grateful. And so I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that, God has healed me. The thought of COVID, the thought of, knowing that I have the virus, You look at the numbers and you see people have lost their lives. I mean, this whole thing has been going on since when? Beginning of this year. It scares you. So I'm thankful. I'm just thankful that I've been healed. I mean, here I am. I've been healed. I'm healed. I'm healed. Today it's almost, it's the fourth day or the third day, of isolation and quarantine and healing, and I'm just thankful. I'm also thankful that I had people who stood by me, because there are some battles you can't fight on your own. You can't fight alone. You need others to go on this journey with you, to hold the hand, to hold your hand. And even if I was on isolation, I knew that there were people who were covering me in prayer. I knew there were people who, they would text me voice messages, and, I'm just thankful for all this. Thankful for everyone who prayed with me, for my family. We had people who would cook and leave the food outside by the door, because I was on isolation, but my husband, my nan, and Jasper, they were on quarantine, and everybody was wearing masks in the house and all that, social distancing and, all those things. Nobody was allowed to go out. And so I'm just thankful that really people showed up. People showed up. People, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. We had food being prepared, left outside. We had people doing our groceries. I had friends send flowers, just people calling and texting. I'm just thankful. I'm really overwhelmed. And, Dubai Health Authority, oh wow. The love, the empathy, the compassion, the love and the care. These are men and women. They're working 24/7 to make sure that some of us, they're taken care of. I'm just thankful for their life, and, really, I can only pray that God will continue to protect them.